Okay. Call the meeting to order.
Resolution be resolved that the regular meeting of the council of the corporation of the Township of Assiginack be open for business at 7 p.m. with members present and mayor be presiding for chair. Could I have a mover and a seconder?
We have Rob and Jen. All those in favor? It's carried. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Three Fires Confederacy, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples of the Mindy-Mincing. We recognize and deeply appreciate the stewardship and historic connection to this place and recognize that we must do more to learn about its rich history so that we will better understand our role as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers.
The resolution be resolved that the agenda for this meeting be amended by adding 7F, development of civic addressing changes policy. 7G, municipal office Christmas hours and staff Christmas bonuses. 7H, effects in Northern Ontario of Life Labs ownership. And the addition of number 10 of a closed session dealing with property acquisition, disposition, and security of municipal property. Could I have a mover and a second?
Okay, Janice and Jen.
Can you read 7B one more time, sorry, or 7F?
7F, development of civic addressing changes policy.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, I remind you, if you have a pecuniary interest, you may declare an hour at the time it arises and the general nature thereof. Announcements. We'll go on to the adoption minutes.
We resolved that we adopt the minutes of the November 18th, 2025 regular council meeting and the minutes of December 2nd, 2025 and January 6th, 2026 meetings of the committee of the whole. Didn't have the mover and something.
Jen and Jen. Any discussion on those? Okay, all those in favor? We have no definitions tonight. We do have something for
Resolution be it resolved that we accept the following reports. A 2025 inspection reports inside a state's drinking water system. B staff holiday office closure report. And C OPP calls for service.
Member for seconder. Okay. Okay. Discussion on that?
Just a couple things. So just out of curiosity, so I'm reading this Sunside Estate subdivision. The drinking water system, that's a lot of information and I certainly appreciate it. The one thing that was noted was there's a second blow off line. Is that the term for it? A blow off line? And there was some concern about not knowing where it was. Is that accurate or?
They've since identified where it is.
Yes.
Because there are no drawings for the system. They had to go back to the original operator when the system was installed and.
Is it possible to get drawings of the system so the problem doesn't come up again? Now that we know where it is.
It's not, well, I mean, it's always possible to get engineered drawings, but the distribution system wouldn't be up to current standards. So we could probably do a locations drawing.
Yeah.
But I think a real set of drawings would have to wait till the distribution system is replaced.
Okay, I just was curious because for me, it's always about mapping. If I know where something is and I can tell you now, then 10 years from now, you'd be like, hey, she made that.
Very important.
And just out of curiosity, so the permit to take water, it expires in July and is it a 90-day process to get that done? Like, who does that? Is that something you would do then to
Well,
apply for that permit?
We're going to work with so there's two, there's the permit to take water and the drinking water license that both have to be renewed this year. Aqua will do the paperwork. We will have to submit the paperwork and we will have to contract, a company to do the financial plans for both of the water systems. It'll be included in this year's budget. We've used the same firm probably for 3 cycles. They've also done the required 4-year financial sustainability reports, and they've worked with us in terms of asset management. So we will be contracting them probably in another few months, and will basically keep us online in terms of the application timeline.
Okay, I was just curious, and what happens if you go past that date?
It depends on what's holding you up. I suspect we've never gone past the date, so I don't have any specific experience to give you, but I would imagine if you're working with the ministry and advising them as much ahead of time as you can as to what the issue is, they will probably work with you. But I don't think they would let it go any length of time.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the process of it. Again, it's quite a lengthy report, so.
Yes.
You also identify some staffing issues.
And I don't think Aqua would be shy to tell you they've had issues retaining staff with competitive rating. I think would be the polite way of saying it. It seems to have stabilized, but I believe our current contract expires and we have to negotiate in 2027. I believe we're going to see the rise in our contract to ensure Aqua's competitive.
And we've already discussed this in the past, but there really isn't anybody else in Northern Ontario that has the ability to take.
There's no one else willing to come. Yes.
In years gone by, we did have a private firm, didn't we? I can't remember the name, that
We-
replaced Aqua for a few years, and then Aqua came back on board with us.
Yeah,
Yes.
we had some issues with them.
Well, the company couldn't deliver and they actually went to Aqua
Yeah.
and gave them the contract. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They're the only player in town.
Yep.
I'd just like to draw your attention to that, report from our treasurer about the holiday office closure. So, if you see that, she kind of estimated what it might be. There really, I like to stress this, there really isn't any cost to closing the office because salaried positions get paid whether they're here, whether they're not here, they work their hours and they always work more hours. But if we had to pay out those costs, it would have been 5,600. However, the amount of time that they put in one unpaid hour per week, which is on top of their contract, it would add up to 16,200. Just to cover that, that doesn't cover any of the extra work that they put in for cemetery issues and year-end work, budget prep, tax billing prep, all the other things they do, plus all the meetings they attend. So there really is no cost to the township. And there is no savings to the township, whether we are open or whether we are closed during that time.
I had a couple of questions just about that.
Sure.
So, I appreciate you doing the work for that, Ed. The question I had, so it said that it's an extra hour a week, but it didn't allot for lunch hours. Do we not have lunch hours?
No,
No.
we don't. We eat at our desk as well.
Okay, so, for me, having worked both salary positions and hourly positions, that to me is a time management issue because they should be taking their breaks. They're legally entitled to the breaks. And in a 9-hour day, that would be an hour unpaid, correct? For a lunch? Should they not each have an hour for lunch?
They should, but in order to make the compressed work week work, we need to work 9 hours a day for the 4 days.
So perhaps it's not working out to have the compressed work week. We need to look at that again.
I tend to,
This is a report that we just need to acknowledge. Can we discuss this? There are 7 seven G.
No, we won't discuss that right now. We're just discussing the report for
That's what
now.
I'm saying right now, let's discuss the report,
Yeah,
we've got it.
yeah.
Now we're debating. Why don't we do that under six G where we?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
That's just to acknowledge the report.
yes. And if there was any question, report, and that was,
Well, that was one of my questions regarding the report.
okay.
I see some increase in the police services to our area. Is that potentially because of more staffing? Responding to more calls and more time in our area?
According to our representative on the board, it's too early to pinpoint a particular cause. It seems to be in flux all through, the island, obviously the staffing issue has improved. But he believes it'll probably be another 3 to 6 months before we can pinpoint, or they'll pinpoint what the actual causes are.
And these numbers help dictate our cost to the policing.
Yeah,
So we're obviously gonna see a substantial increase in.
we're going to see an increase in costs, yes.
We do have.
We do have a
We do.
24, 25 comparison on a number of the calls and the reasons for those calls, and you can see clearly on, when you look at the numbers on some items, you need a magnifying glass for this.
Yeah, it was difficult to
Yeah,
read.
but, without being specific to the call, you can see where there's been some increases that are actually a little bit alarming.
Mhm.
So I think that's something we want to be mindful of too, as we discuss things.
And I think we all are aware of different issues in town, even without that report, to expect that there would be more calls,
Mhm.
just based on everything we're hearing around town.
On the other hand, the good thing is that the police are there addressing the
Absolutely.
issues.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor of that motion then? That's to
So what motion?
accept the report.
Oh, to accept the report, yes, absolutely.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you very much.
Action required.
Resolution be resolved that we inform the Manitoulin Planning Board that with regards to consent application B 1525. The municipality has entered into an encroachment agreement pertaining to the adjacent unopened allowance. And that it supports a site-specific zoning amendment for all other buildings which do not meet current boundary setback requirements.
A mover and seconder, please, Janice and Twain. Okay. Discussion on this or questions? I think we've gone over this. All those in favor of that, that's carried.
Resolution. Move that we inform the Manitoulin Planning Board that in response to a pre-consultation request, we have no objection to a severance application of number 9 and number 15 Napier Streets, as these are both lots of record, regardless of their areas, and that we would support a site-specific zoning bylaw to authorize the current location of all buildings on number 9.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to move that. I'm familiar with these lots and the history of these lots.
okay.
And so to me, it's a no-brainer, like Alton said, it's a lot, but there are lots of record. And so it's just basically, paperwork more than anything, putting something back to the way that it was.
So we need a seconder for that. then.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Resolution, be it resolved, we acknowledge the 2026 municipal levy due to public health sub-grade districts in the amount of $57,398.33.
Okay, mover, seconder? Okay, Jen and Hannah. Discussion on that? Municipal levy? Is that up, Deb, you know?
That was about 54,000, I think it was, for 2025, so, yeah.
Okay. Other discussion? All those in favor, that's carried.
We have a resolution, we have resolved that we add our support to the Elbows Up climate action request from Canadian local governments to the leaders of all federal political parties.
Mover and seconder? And, discussion on this? Something we wanna do? Okay, all those in favor? Carried.
Resolution be it resolved that we add our support to the town of Colborne's resolution regarding changes to the conservation authority boundaries.
Anybody have questions on that or discussion? Mover and seconder, sorry, shooting that, just Bob and Jen. All those in favor? Carried.
Resolution being resolved that whereas staff have provided whereas staff are provided adequate annual holiday allotments in compliance with.
Good address.
City address.
Oh, resolution being resolved that from time to time changes may be necessary to civic addressing based on new development, et cetera. And that notice must be given in due time to existing ratepayers that their civic 911 numbering will be changing. Now therefore that the ratepayers should be notified by registered letter as much in advance as possible, as well as regular mail. And further, when work crews arrive to change the number, they should notify the homeowner by knocking on the door and speaking to the resident that they will be changing the number at that point in time. And should no one answer the door, notice be taped to the door to ensure that there's immediate notice given.
Okay, this is a motion that Jen's brought to the table. So I
think it's a good idea, especially.
Oh, we don't have a move, yeah, because we need to move our first. Move and second year, Jen. Okay,
I think it's a good idea for the notice, for them to knock on the door, especially if mail's on strike again and they don't get the letter.
It seems a little excessive, isn't like a registered letter and a normal letter and as well as something hanging on your door not adequate enough to have to make staff wait around to do a face-to-face with somebody?
That's,
Like, I think a registered letter is quite adequate. As past practice has been, what,
We haven't used registered letters in the past. We've used regular mail in the past, but council is correct. We've had more postal interruptions lately. We may have maybe a half dozen corrections have to be made in any given year. There's an awful lot more lead time if we're renaming or dealing with a road or a laneway. So there would be more notice, but I think a registered letter and posting on the property would be sufficient that notice is given. Again, depending on the time of the year and whether it's a year-round residence or seasonal residence, registered mail and posting would be pretty much all you can do.
I would think that'd be adequate instead of having to do, somebody knocking your door and do a face-to-face with people, like our staff's valuable time, you start to having to stop to explain somebody that your 911 address is changing. And we're gonna tie up staff for potentially up to an hour.
because nobody's gonna be happy about it.
And then you have the other prior problem where people aren't here in the winter time. So I think a registered letter is adequate.
Right, I tend to support what Dwayne is saying also, but also then changing a 911 number. That's not just a direction between council or staff, or I should say the municipality and the homeowner. That there's a number of agencies that would be involved in this process as well, that I think that we would have to consult with, wouldn't we, prior to going through that practice.
Traditionally, when
Emergency services.
yes,
For one example, law enforcement, etc.
yes.
Then they're notified from the office.
On the larger renumberings, definitely. In this particular instance that I believe triggered this, it was undertaken by Public Works rather quickly. We could have slowed the process down a bit and made sure proper notice was given. I don't have any problem with covering the municipalities, but traditionally we inform Bell and they inform the services. But we like to let our local services know.
Great.
Yeah, because any 911 changes would have to trickle through Bell to 911
Yes.
to actually become very effective, and that's gonna take
Sometime.
a while, yeah.
Mhm.
So providing all the channels are being directed properly. I tend to agree with the process if that complements communicating with all.
So leave out a second letter is,
Yeah,
Just do a registered letter and a door hanger, a possible notice in the door that says that we were here, we'll change your 911 address.
To be fair, I think that would be sufficient. The idea is that to make sure that they know it has been changed as of right now, not it's going to be changed and you know,
That's right.
just pay attention. It's, hey, we were here, it's changed and it's done. So that people are aware, and even a registered letter can get lost in the mail, so it's really important to make sure that if they go there, that they notify them right away, that's all.
okay, so are you okay with leaving that out too, Janice? The
Yes,
second
for
letter?
sure, but
We'll do
leaving the
second.
notice on the door is just as good.
Oh. Okay, then no more discussion? Okay, all those in favor? That's carried.
Resolution, be it resolved that whereas staff are provided adequate annual allowance in compliance with township policies and legislative requirements. Now therefore, the Township of Assiginack will cease closing municipal services between Christmas and New Year's, commencing in 2026. And that any staff member absent from work between Christmas and New Year's will be required to use existing holiday allotments. And further, that should any service interruption occur from the use of the holidays, the council provide prior approval to formalizing the holiday request.
This is a motion brought by Jen again, so I would take it that she's moving it.
Yes.
Seconder? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna speak to this one first of all, because first of all, I don't understand what your rationale is that you wanna keep it open. You haven't given any in your motion. And they must use their holidays because they have enough. That's what it says to me, that you're saying you have enough holidays, so we have to keep it open, but you give no rationale to keep it open. We've also already proved that there is no cost to keep it open, and we didn't save anything either way. So, and the council has to approve the use of holidays. We have a CAO that approves holidays, so I don't know why that would come to council. That's micromanaging and I'm not in favor of that. And also after 3 years, you must realize that bylaws, policies and motions are fluid. So to say that commencing in 2026, that the office must be open from then on, it bears no weight. Because another council can come along and they can totally change that. So to do it makes no sense to me. So. That's that one. Anybody else have anything they want to add to that?
I do. I agree with you that this is a decision, that would be, or a discussion that would come to the next council after this election year. So it's not really applicable to us for one thing. Secondly, I kind of, on a personal level, I feel like it's almost a punitive approach to our staff, because our staff have proven, even with the report that Dev has given us, that, you know, they go above and beyond. And this is not just at Christmas time, this is year round. I mean, I've seen it for years. Many businesses, many organizations, establishments close during Christmas. It's a common practice. We've done it for years. See no reason to change it. And like you say, that all the services have been covered. So personally, I think that rather than taking this approach, I find it, I'm kind of offended by it, to be honest with you, because I think that we should be thanking our staff and enabling our staff, and maybe working more towards a staff appreciation day and something that would help them do their jobs, and make it a better working environment for everybody. And this approach to me does not contribute to that type of, how to say, mindset. That said, against the motion, I think the timing is bad. And furthermore, I'd also like to say, I think that we should be thanking our staff and congratulating them as well in the same sentence for all the hard work that they do year round for us, above and beyond. Without question,
Mhm.
that they're always there. If we have a water main break, there's staff that just show up, that are salaried staff, and they're there for the time, the duration. You know, if they're taking courses for training, in order to keep up on legal issues and other very important, or engineering, et cetera, whatever, municipal operations, software, et cetera. And they take personal time to do this. We're not paying them for it. So the return on the investment we get on for what the remunerated is much greater than what we actually see. So thank you very much to everybody for all the hard work that you do.
Anybody else want to say anything?
I don't disagree, Rob, that the staff work hard. However, salaried, that's the key word here. When you're salaried, there's expectations for whatever your job is, right? Now, to say that the staff doesn't do a good job, that's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying is ratepayers would like the office open during Christmas and New Year's. I actually had 3 people come to me and say they would have come in through the holidays because they're here visiting family. So as ratepayers paying the bill, I think they have a right to be able to come into the office between Christmas and New Year's to talk to somebody. So if that means staffing it, however it means you don't have to have all the staff here. Whoever has seniority or needs that week's vacation or whatever. But I do think to the ratepayers, we owe it to them to have the office open. We have other staff that are salaried. They're working through the Christmas break. The road crew's working through the Christmas break, the arena, like it's not a private entity. It's paid by the ratepayers. They should have a service that they are paying for.
And like I said before, during the initial part is that we've had staff come out on call if they need be. There was no need, there was no emergency, it's Christmas, staff were off, they were enjoying holidays with their families, just like everybody else does in this country, so to speak. And so, you know, if there had been an emergency, then probably staff would have been here.
No, not probably, Rob. They would have
Well,
been.
exactly,
They absolutely
exactly.
would have
And,
been,
you know,
which they do.
I'm self-employed and I was closed along the municipality. Along with other businesses that I'm aligned with as well. And so, you know, it's an accepted practice. It makes perfect sense. It's the human thing to do.
And
And the
there's
bases are covered. If there's a need for a call out, bases are covered. So
there's many ways
That's
of
the
people being
NLRB.
able to get a hold of our office staff and paying bills. There's more than just they don't come in and pay cash. Dwayne, what did you want to say?
First off, I do agree with Rob. A quick Google search will show that there were multiple municipalities in Northern Ontario that were closed for this period of time, if not longer, over the holidays. Going to the compressed work week has actually made it easier for ratepayers to come in and see our staff on a regular basis before and after work. And I don't think going back to the traditional way of 8 to 4 or 9 to 4 to correct this disagreement would benefit the ratepayers any by being open at that period of time. So I just wrote this out because I didn't want to get it wrong and I didn't want to hurt any feelings doing it. And I said, I write, I do not support this motion. Our staff have adjusted their lives to accommodate a compressed work week to ensure our ratepayers have better access to municipal services during the week, and removing it would be acting in bad faith of our employees. The treasurer's report clearly shows that our staff contributed over $16,000 in unpaid time annually since moving to the compressed work week. The cost of this year's holidays closure was less than 1/3 of this. And shows that municipalities and our ratepayers continue to benefit financially. This motion is a solution in search of a problem. We have a dedicated team that have never formally negotiated changes to a compressed work week. If we force them to track their hours, as we will now be doing, the municipality will likely find it owing staff far more than the $5,600 it costs for this closure. Let's show our staff the same respect they show our ratepayers by maintaining a well-earned break. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to speak to that then?
Absolutely. First of all, it is not personal. It is certainly not personal. I agree with you, Rob, that our staff does go above and beyond. However, ratepayers commented about being closed. We have holiday allotments. There's no reason why people cannot take their holiday time at that point in time. It's not a matter of council making a decision or micromanaging holidays. What this says is if there is a service interruption, then council has to approve it, just as they have the closure for so many years. The bottom line is that we are here, as Janice said, for the ratepayers. And to be closed for a week and a half at Christmas when many people do not celebrate Christmas, when we do have, as Alton has pointed out in the past, more seasonal people than regular year-round people that maybe are here at Christmas time, have maybe come to and seen that it's closed and had to leave. We are here for the ratepayer. If everybody disagrees, then it's shot down and the end of it. I did have to bring it forward because enough people commented and I wanted to make sure that we have a recorded vote. And then that's the end of it.
Okay, but you do realize that even should this motion pass, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything to the next council.
Does it mean anything, and with anything we say at this table?
Any
Of
bylaw.
course, well, everything we do is fluid. Everything.
But that's
Our
exactly
bylaws
what you're
are
saying.
fluid. Everything is fluid.
Everything is fluid. What we have to say at any given meeting holds no water.
Exactly. So it would have been good to have a rationale in there as to why you needed it to keep it open. Although I don't feel that there's enough people that needed to be at the office that we needed to have it open. So anyway, let's call the motion then. All those in favor?
Support October.
Oh, recorded vote. Absolutely, sorry.
Councillor Brown,
I'm in favor of the motion.
Councillor Elliott,
No,
Councillor Hooper,
I'm in favor.
Councillor McGuire,
No,
Mayor Reed,
No,
resolution's defeated. Resolution be it resolved that whereas the Township of Assiginack has completed a compensation review in 2025, and whereas staff wages were adjusted to ensure competitiveness, now therefore that the Township of Assiginack will cease offering staff bonuses commencing in 2026.
that's the motion brought by Councillor Hooper too, so I would suggest that she's moving that one. Seconder?
One second.
Okay. Okay, so to start with, in the motion itself, it doesn't say Christmas bonuses, but I understand that's seen as we don't offer any other bonus, I would take that needs to be inserted in there, Christmas bonus. So your rationale is that they get paid a decent wage and they don't need a Christmas bonus. That seems, in my opinion, mean-spirited and petty. So these are modest bonuses by any standard, 200 for, and this is public knowledge, 200 for a full-time employee and 100 for a part-time employee. So in total, it costs $3,300. Christmas bonuses have always been given in the spirit of Christmas and as a thank you and out of gratitude for the fine job that they all do. And again, this motion, should it pass, could be counteracted by, counteracted by any further committee for the council. So to bring it now, when we probably may not even be here next year, just seems counterproductive. And tells the staff that they're really not even worth that thank you, in my opinion. Anybody else?
I did second the motion, but I'm fine with giving the Christmas bonus.
Okay. Dwayne?
I don't support removing.
Rob?
I don't support the motion either. I'm in favor of giving Christmas bonuses. That's our way of saying thank you to the staff for, again, work well done. And furthermore, when you look at the investment versus the return on the investment for municipality as a whole, including the township, the ratepayers, et cetera, visitors, far exceeds what we put out for a Christmas bonus. So I'm all in favor of Christmas bonuses.
Jen?
Again, I brought it forward at the request of ratepayers. who commented they didn't understand why we would be giving bonuses if we are a municipal corporation and we serve the ratepayer. Why are we giving bonuses? Again, it is not a personal choice. It is at the request of ratepayers. Having Christmas bonuses is not a customary thing for municipal governments.
It's customary for this municipal government.
Okay, so that being said, again, no one's going to agree to it. I personally feel that bonuses are an antiquated way of doing things. I certainly do agree with doing other things. However, I don't agree with bonuses. So,
So just because somebody asked you in this, wherever, why we're giving a Christmas bonus, you can't just explain that to them instead of like, this feels very personal. I'm sorry, but it does. So if you can't just explain that it's
I
something
just
that
have,
this government, but to the other people, to the people that are talking to you about it. To the ratepayers that are saying, why do we do it?
but they have the right to ask why we're giving bonuses, and they have the right to disagree with it. And I, as a counselor, am asked by ratepayers to bring things forward, and that is part of my role and responsibility. And so that's what I have done. Again, if people disagree with it, that's up to them.
Okay. Call the question, all those in favor, or was this one recorded too?
I would report it, sure.
You're requesting that it be recorded.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councillor Bowerman,
I'm not in favor of it.
Councillor Elliott,
I do not support the motion.
Councillor Hooper,
I support the motion.
Councillor McGuire,
I do not support the motion.
Mayor Reed.
No, don't support that one. Thank you.
Resolution's defeated. Resolution be it resolved that the Township of Assiginack supports all efforts to retain life labs locations in Northern Ontario. And that we ask both Phenom and Noma for this position on our behalf.
I have a mover and seconder for that. Okay, Twain and Janice. Rob brought this to my attention and I think it's very important. So I'd like everybody to know that there is a video on Facebook that they can watch about Life Labs being shut down in Sudbury. There's a petition that you can sign. And I'm urging everybody to go to that also and sign. I'm wondering if we should print out a petition and either have it at the office or ask the clinic to have it. Do you think
You
that
can
would
ask
be
the
wise?
clinic to have it.
Ask the clinic?
Is there a way of attaching a link on our
I was just
Facebook
gonna
page?
say, I've signed it. I can send the link to the office if that's any help.
Yeah, we could put
Because
that
I
on
signed
our,
it
we
already.
could put that on our.
Do they have one at the pharmacy already?
I didn't notice a petition there.
I haven't been there. I don't
I haven't
know.
either. I noticed the video by Jamie West online. That's
Yeah.
I forwarded it
Mhm.
there. And it's definitely something that we want to fight for.
Absolutely, we need
Yep.
that lab here because people are going to be stuck redoing labs and. Yeah, we can't have everything going down south.
So extending our motion to Phenom. Well, what's the?
Isn't
membership of
Phenom going on right now, Rob?
Really, to roll.
No, that's wrong.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Phenom has more club.
Yeah.
Than we do or the MMA would have.
Mhm.
So, and, if Phenom and Noma both lobby, then it's immediate. Like they
Yeah.
have staff to do that.
Yeah.
So is funding an issue? Is that why they're pulling out of Sudbury?
It's.
Was bought out by an
yeah.
American company and they're
Yeah.
closing the doors in Sudbury. And they bought them out like a year and a half ago too. The video explains it all.
Yeah.
It's
no,
really
we're
good.
looking at that.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor then, that's carried.
Imagine the senior people that have a hard time even giving blood. And then the highway's closed, so then they gotta go back a second time.
Okay, moving on.
Resolution be it resolved that we acknowledge receipt of the following correspondence information items. A, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, reading Manitoulin planning for position on the Natural Heritage System Strategy. B, Town of Barry Sound Alcohol Container Return System. And C, Manitoulin East Municipal Airport Commission minutes.
Move and seconder, please. Rob and Dwayne. Discussion on any of those? I think the, managerial and planning board is going to have to come in line with that from the sounds of it.
There's a meeting tomorrow night.
So
MMA.
my understanding is all the member municipalities passed the prerequisite bylaws to accommodate the strategy, and the planning board is protesting the need for it and the way it's written under the provincial policy statement, and have stated that they're not going to approve it. I would respectfully suggest with the planning board.
Right, that one. And the alcohol container system, that's something that they need to take a look at, but did you want to support that?
Is it asking for support or just
Or
information?
information.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor then? It's carried. We have no bylaws tonight, but we do have a closed session.
Be resolved that in accordance with section 239 municipal act and bylaw 15-30, council proceed to a closed session at 7:40 PM. In order to consider a proposed or pending acquisition or disposal of land owned by the municipality, and B, the security of the property of the municipality.
Okay, mover and seconder, please. And Stephen. All those in favor? It's carried.